I have to be honest. When I first heard the whispers and started connecting the dots about Jacinda Bracken, my heart literally dropped into my stomach. The moment I saw this theory, I knew something was fundamentally wrong, and I wasn't ready for that. We all thought Paige Herschel had wrapped up her run. We all watched her final episode last week, saw the fallout of her drugging Willow Kane's drink, and collectively thought the chapter was closed. But my mind is screaming that this is just the calm before the ultimate storm. That changed everything for me. I am sitting here feeling a mix of sheer panic and absolute awe at the audacity of what might be unfolding right in front of our eyes. I can't help feeling that we have all been played, completely and utterly manipulated by the writers in the best and worst way possible. Let's really think about this for a second. Jacinda Bracken, a character who seemed like a minor nuisance, a pawn in the messy, chaotic drama between Willow, Michael Corinthos, and Drew Kane. We watched her spike Willow's drink, causing that whole woozy driving nightmare with the kids, and we thought her motives were just petty revenge or typical soap opera jealousy. But what if that was all a brilliant smokescreen? What if her real target was never Willow or Michael? What if her ultimate mission in Port Charles was always Sonny Corinthos? I keep thinking about how perfectly this aligns with the classic trope of the sleeper agent. You bring someone into town, have them cause a localized, unrelated scandal to establish their presence and motives, and then when everyone's guard is down, they strike at the real target. It hits so incredibly hard because it completely shatters our expectations. We are conditioned to look for the big bad mob bosses, the Jen Sidwells, the WSB rogue agents with guns blazing. We never look at the girl pouring the drink. And then there is Sonny. Oh my God, Sonny. I have to admit, the timing of this potential twist is what makes it so devastating. After everything Sonny has been through, the betrayals, the mob wars, Nixon Falls, losing Morgan, fighting with Carly Spencer, and Jason Morgan leaving the organization, he is finally genuinely looking at the exit door. He is contemplating leaving the mafia life behind to build a normal, peaceful life with his family and loved ones. It is the classic, tragic mobster dilemma. The moment you try to get out, the universe pulls you back in, or worse, it takes you out permanently. We have watched Maurice Benard breathe life into this iconic character since 1993. For over 3 decades, Sonny Corinthos has been the beating heart, the dark soul, and the absolute anchor of General Hospital. The thought of him finally reaching for peace, only to be assassinated by a ghost from the shadows, is almost too painful to bear. I love this storyline concept. I really do. From a purely narrative standpoint, having an undercover assassin slowly infiltrate the Corinthos family's orbit without anyone noticing is brilliant writing. It is suspenseful, it is shocking, and it is exactly the kind of high-stakes drama that keeps us glued to our screens. But something still bothers me, and it bothers me deeply. I am so frustrated that it might be Jacinda. Part of me feels like Sonny deserves a grander exit. If he is going to be taken down, shouldn't it be by a legendary rival? Shouldn't it be a massive cinematic showdown? The idea of him being quietly taken out by a seemingly random girl who manipulated her way into town feels almost disrespectful to his massive legacy. Yet, at the same time, I know that is exactly why it worked. It is cold, it is calculated, and it is terrifyingly realistic. I am completely torn between admiring the genius of the plot and wanting to throw my remote at the television. Let's talk about Jacinda's actions, because I need to judge this for a moment. I understand why a rival organization or a rogue WSB faction would use someone like her. She is unassuming. She doesn't have the typical hitman aura. But I still think that was a mistake on the writer's part to make her initial storyline so heavily focused on the Willow and Drew drama if this was the endgame. It feels slightly disjointed. Or maybe I'm being unfair, but I just can't wrap my head around a highly trained assassin risking her cover by spiking a drink just to cause a minor car accident scenario. If you are there to kill the biggest mob boss on the eastern seaboard, why draw attention to yourself with petty crime? Unless, of course, the petty crime was specifically designed to get her fired, get her out of town, and make everyone believe she was gone for good. If that was her strategy, to create a fake exit so she could return as a ghost, then Jacinda is the most terrifying villain we have seen in years. Sonny is the real target, and we were all looking the other way. And then I have to judge Sonny. I love the man, but I still think he is making a massive mistake by letting his guard down right now. Sonny has survived this long because he is paranoid, because he checks every corner, and because he never trusts anyone completely. But lately, he is so focused on his internal family struggles, his romantic life, and his deep desire to just be a normal father and grandfather. He is vulnerable. He is distracted. And in Sonny's world, distraction equals death. I understand why he wants to step away. He is tired. The blood, the violence, the constant looking over his shoulder, it has taken a heavy toll on him. But you don't just walk away from 3 decades of organized crime without someone coming to collect the debts. I am screaming at my screen, begging him to wake up and look around. But he is too busy looking at the sunset to notice the sniper hiding in the tree. This brings me to the absolute core of my internal struggle. This is the part that is keeping me awake at night. Maurice Benard's contract is reportedly up in early 2027. Now, let me be clear, Maurice has not confirmed he is retiring. He has not said he is leaving General Hospital. We cannot treat this as an absolute fact. But as a fan who has followed his incredible journey, his mental health advocacy, and his open discussions on his podcast, part of me wants to believe he will sign a new deal and stay forever. I want Sonny Corinthos to be on my screen until the end of time. But another part of me thinks maybe he is ready to rest. Maybe he wants to step down while he is still at the absolute top of his game. I honestly can't decide what I want. If Maurice wants to retire, he deserves the biggest, most earth-shattering exit in soap opera history. But am I ready to say goodbye? Absolutely not. The thought of Port Charles without Sonny Corinthos feels like a physical blow to the chest. Guys, try to imagine that final episode. Just picture it in your mind. Imagine Jacinda slipping back into town, completely unnoticed. No dramatic music, no big announcements, just a shadow moving through the background of the Metro Court or standing outside Sonny's penthouse in the dark. Imagine Sonny sitting alone, maybe holding a picture of Morgan, or looking at a drawing from Donna, finally feeling a profound sense of peace. He thinks he has made it. He thinks he has finally escaped the darkness of the mob. And then, out of nowhere, Jacinda strikes. The screen goes black. I genuinely wasn't expecting that level of emotional devastation when I started analyzing this show today, but here we are. It would be a poetic, heartbreaking, and violently abrupt end to an era. It would change the fabric of General Hospital permanently. Who takes over? Michael? Jason? Does the Corinthos Empire just crumble into dust? I keep thinking about how the other characters would react to this nightmare scenario. How does Carly survive losing Sonny for real this time? Not a Nixon Falls fake death, but real, permanent, irreversible death. How does Jason handle the crushing guilt of walking away from the organization just before his best friend gets assassinated? The ripple effects would completely dominate the show for the next 5 years. Part of me is incredibly excited by the dramatic potential. It would be Emmy-winning material for Laura Wright, Steve Burton, and Chad Duell. But another part of me is just overwhelmingly sad. We have invested so much of our lives into this character. We have defended his worst actions, celebrated his triumphs, and cried with him through his deepest tragedy. To have it all end because of a sleeper agent named Jacinda Bracken, it is a very bitter pill to swallow. If this theory holds true, we also have to ask, who is pulling Jacinda's string? Is she working for the WSB? We know the WSB has been incredibly corrupt lately, with Ross Cullum and all the rogue agents running around. Maybe the WSB finally decided that Sonny Corinthos is too big of a liability to leave alive, especially if he is trying to legitimize his assets and step out of the shadows. Or maybe it is a ghost from the 90s, an old enemy who has been waiting 30 years for Sonny to finally drop his guard. I love the idea of a long gestating revenge plot. It makes the universe feel connected and incredibly dangerous. But it also makes me realize that Sonny was never going to get a happy ending. Men like Sonny Corinthos don't get to ride off into the sunset. They go out in a blaze of glory, or they get taken out in the quietest, most treacherous way possible. What if Jacinda doesn't work alone? What if she has an inside man in Sonny's organization right now? We know Sonny's security has been breached before. Dex Heller infiltrated. Others have tried and failed. But Jacinda is different because she didn't aim for Sonny first. She aimed for the periphery. She aimed for Willow. She aimed for Drew. She created chaos on the edges of the Corinthos family to test their response times, to see how Michael reacts, to see how distracted Sonny gets when his family is in crisis. It is a terrifyingly brilliant tactical move. I have to admit, if the writers actually planned this from her very first appearance, I will stand up and applaud them. It is next level storytelling. But it still terrifies me because it means absolutely no one in Port Charles is safe. I need to take a moment to just appreciate Maurice Benard. If 2026 or early 2027 really is the end of the line, we are witnessing the final chapters of a masterclass in acting. He brought a level of depth, vulnerability, and raw humanity to a mob boss that had never been seen on daytime television before. He made us root for the bad guy. He made us cry for a criminal. The way he portrayed Sonny's bipolar disorder saved actual lives in the real world. That is not just soap opera history, that is television history. If this Jacinda Bracken theory is the vehicle for his exit, I just pray they give him the material he deserves on his way out. He needs to go out fighting, even if he doesn't win the final battle. We owe him that much respect. Every time I watch a scene with Sonny now, I feel this overwhelming sense of dread washing over. When he smiles at his kids, when he shares a quiet moment with Carly, or when he talks about stepping back from the business, my heart just ached. It feels like we are watching a ghost walking among the living. The foreshadowing is almost too heavy to ignore. The writers are painting this beautiful picture of a man seeking redemption, which in the soap world is essentially drawing a massive target on his back. I keep yelling at the screen, telling him to put his guards back up, to call Brick, to call Jason, to do something. But he is walking right into the trap, and Jacinda is just waiting in the wings, biding her time until the perfect moment to strike. Maybe it's just me, but the anxiety is real. Am I the only one feeling this way? Seriously, guys, what do you think? Am I completely overthinking this Jacinda Bracken situation, or do you feel the same terrifying shift in the atmosphere? Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't shake this feeling that we are hurtling toward a massive, heartbreaking finale for the Corinthos patriarch. Do you think Jacinda is really a sleeper assassin waiting to take him out? Do you think Maurice Benard is actually going to retire in 2027? And if he does, is this the right way for Sonny to go out? I desperately need to know I'm not alone in this emotional roller coaster. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I am going to be obsessing over this until we finally get some answers.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.